Hail and welcome to a Norse Pagan's Guide to Simple Practice. I'm Dave Martell, 8-year alderman of the Skaferling Sipshaft, as well as a member of the Neurona Society, a private research institute dedicated to the study and development of the ancient Germanic religious tradition. So what I want to talk about today is a little bit different than previous topics, and this is a topic that is much more pragmatic, but also absolutely important, and it's something that gets asked a lot, and it's something that certainly pertains to kind of the struggles or how we go about living our everyday lives here in the world in the year 2020, and that is coexisting with other faiths. So this is a complex topic because not all faiths are created equal. Not all people are created equal, and not all people are the same. So when we get into how do we coexist with other faiths, mostly what people are asking is, how can I explain this to my Christian family? And that's what I'm going to get into today. However, there's a little bit of nuance to this because it's really hard to coexist with certain faiths. Certain faiths and their ideologies are not compatible with ours. So how do we maintain peace or maintain frith, or at least put up the facade, I guess we could say, of behaving in frith with these people? So there are some concentric circles. Let's say 3 concentric circles. You have your kin, or your Innengard, the people that you are most compatible with, which will be devotional polytheists. More specifically, people that are of like mind, other devotional polytheistic Germanic, and this could also, go with some other of the pagan pantheons and traditions as well. We are going to have most in common, obviously, with ourselves, and then also with people of other European polytheistic traditional European traditions. So Slavs, Celts, Hellenismos, which is Greek, Religio Romano, which is like Roman, some of these folks. And then also we are going to have a lot in common with our cousins in the Dharmic schools. So people that are of Dharmic faiths, what we would understand to be Hinduism, Buddhism, Taoism, many of these faiths we have a lot in common with, and we find common ground, and we can shake hands. And while there are certainly some philosophical points of contention with the Eastern schools of thought, we are, as you could say, cousin or even sister religions, as we are all part of the Indo-European family tree. So with that out of the way, what if you are working with somebody that is, say, a Wiccan or a New Ager or some kind of, I guess you could say white girl Buddhist, where effectively their religion is nothing more than what they call tantric sex magic and vagina crystals and what other kinds of ridiculous nonsense that they are proposing. How do you get along with somebody like this? Obviously, ideologically, philosophically, they're diametrically opposed to us. Well, in the Havamal it says, if your neighbor is your enemy, trade lie for a lie, smile for a smile, so spears may not be drawn. Understand that these people are outsiders, that they are Utengard. You are not obligated to let them into your circles. You are not obligated to speak truth to them, because they themselves are not advocates of truth. They themselves are advocates and champions of a sacrilegious, wicked system that we understand as modernity. They are the willing enforcers of modernity, a system that we are hostile to and is hostile to us. So it is best to not engage these people in spiritual discussions unless you are absolutely certain that these people are going to be open to understanding our position. So it's best not to even engage them at all, because these types of people, they don't have a religion. They don't want a religion. They are very much in line with many people that we see on the internet, on YouTube, that claim themselves to be this kind of pagan or that kind of pagan, when in actuality their true religion is liberal humanism. Their true religion is modernity. And those that consume their content are not looking for a spiritual leader. They're not looking for a spiritual teacher. They don't want to be led. They don't want to be taught. They are looking for confirmation bias and to apply a different aesthetic and a different costume, quite frankly, to their already established worldview, which is modernity. So these people are the Utengard. These people are unreachable, and it is best to keep them at arm's length and to not reveal who and what you are to them. So trade smile for a smile, lie for a lie, so that spears may not be drawn, because these people can cause trouble in your life. If you work with these types of people, it is best to just say, if they try to engage you, say, I'm not really interested in those kinds of topics, or I kind of have my own view of things, or give them some sort of wishy-washy nonsense answer, and then just completely dodge the topic, unless you are confident that you are speaking from a position of leverage with these individuals. Secondly, I would say that there are 3 concentric circles. So, secondly, are going to be our family members. The 3 concentric circles, in my opinion, just to keep it simple, will be your inner, your kin. The second circle will be, we'll say, allies, and the third will be atrunator, will be enemies or rivals or people that are not, that people that you do not want to associate with. So, how do we deal with this? Is the elephant in the room. How do we deal with our family members that are Christian? Well, this is a touchy topic, because many of us have family members that are still Christian, some of whom are devout Christians, and we have to live with them. You know, many of you, your mother, your father is probably some sort of devout Christian themselves, and you don't want to throw your mother or father out into the rain. You don't want to not have them over for holidays. You love your mother and father. You love your cousins. You love your direct blood relatives. You can't cut them out of your life. So how do we coexist with them, and more importantly, earn their respect? Because that is a huge thing. So I recently got a question from a young man. He said he's been pursuing this path for a few years now. He's very devout. He's in the faith. He practices all the bloats. He's in it. You know, he's one of us. He asked me, how do I tell my parents that I am a pagan, that I am a heathen, that I am sedish? He said, how do I explain this to them? Well, we also have to understand that not all Christians are created equal as well. There is a big difference between, say, speaking in tongues, snake handling, low church Protestant evangelists, and somebody that is a traditional Catholic or a Gnostic Christian or perhaps an Orthodox or something of that nature. These are 2 completely different beasts. Fortunately, in my experience, my mother's family are somewhat Catholic. Many of my friends are Catholic or Orthodox. My grandfather on my father's side, he was Protestant. So when you are communicating with these people, it's good to learn about the different philosophies that they have. So, speaking from experience, the one thing that you don't want to do is to come off as wishy-washy, because they know when they hear the term pagan or they hear the term heathen, one, they're gonna conflate it with Satanism and demonic practices, which we are not. Another thing is they're going to conflate it with wishy-washy New Age pagan cat ladies that get naked and paint their bodies and do other goofy, weird things. They have witches' brooms and other silly things. They're going to conflate it with that as well, that you are not serious. So one, you have to dispel the idea that you are somehow involved with evil. That needs to get off the table right away, and you need to explain to them that we are a faith of good. We believe in objective good. We believe in real divinity, and sometimes they're not going to understand the idea of polytheism. They're not going to understand some of our philosophies. They're not going to understand what a kindred or a clan is. So it might be useful to say, "Oh, my church," or to speak of the gods as God, to say God. I understand God differently than you do. That is a perfectly acceptable way to explain to your family, your loved ones, how you are different than them. Because firstly, you have to earn their respect, and then they will be open to understanding who and what you are. So keep in mind, a lot of people, they'll say, "Oh, my gods," or what. Keep in mind that the word God, it's our word. It's our word. The word God directly references the holy golden, the gods. When you say God, you are talking about the Germanic Aesir. That's exactly who that means. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with using the word God, because God just means divinity. Our priests are called Gadis. They are God-men, men of God. There's nothing wrong with saying God, because that references the gods. So, moving on, it is important to earn their respect, and sometimes this gets a little heated. One of the things that I will go to when having a discussion with somebody, and it'll get on your nerves. Don't let it. Don't lose your cool. Don't let it upset you, because sometimes these people will smirk and smile like you're a little hobbyist, and they are of the true faith. So this is, at this point, you should hold them to their standards. I say, I never miss church. I have read my holy books front to back. Can you say the same? Are you as pious as me? You don't go to church. Why would I listen to your judgment and you speaking on the behalf of God when you don't even have a proper relationship with him? At this point, they will learn that you are not messing around. Another thing that you need to be prepared for is apologetics. They are going to press you. They are going to say, "Okay, well, how is it that there's many gods? How is it that there's, where do you go when you die? What is the soul made of?" They are going to just come at you with all of these different questions, and they're gonna press you on it. So you have to be prepared. As we are physically and as we are spiritually, you must also be intellectually dangerous and intellectually able to defend yourself against any attack in the arena of wit and tongue and debate. You just have to be. Every man must be a soldier in all forms, must be a warrior in all forms. We are a warrior religion, and winning in the arena of debate is no different. It's no different. So you have to be able to defend yourself intellectually and philosophically to these people. After a while, they will, when they know that you are serious, that you're not some Wiccan cat lady, that you're not some wishy-washy New Ager, and that you're not some Satanist freakazoid, they will be more open to hearing who and what you are. And at this point is when you earn their respect, because this is what they are, our family. Whether you agree with their religion or they agree with your religion, we want to earn the respect of our family. Now, this goes into a little bit more of a complex issue, and that is interfaith households. So, the idea of interfaith households needs to go away. That should not be a thing. When two people get married, or when there is a clear patriarch of the family, the household then must switch to the faith and grow up in the faith of the patriarch. So you, as a heathen or a pagan or a Setian or whatever you, also true, whatever you want to call yourself, when your parents unfortunately pass away and you become the patriarch of the family, that family now practices heathen holidays. They now practice heathen customs because you are now the house father. Our faith is a patriarchal faith. It is pluralism and interfaith households and stuff like that. That's not a thing. Our ancestors never thought of that as a thing. So, say you are a woman and you marry a guy, and you marry a heathen man. You are obligated to become a heathen. And if you absolutely can't, you can't believe it in your heart, then your children must learn this. You know? This, your children growing up and having a choice thing, that's egalitarian nonsense. That's modernity. You learn the tradition of your father. There was no meaningful difference between your household, how society was structured, and also the faith itself. There was no meaningful separation. There was no separation between these things. So when a father takes over a house, when a house father is named, the house also must learn that faith. The children that are born within this house must learn that faith. And then our faith is heathenry. So if you are a woman and you are looking to marry a man and you don't want some sort of religion then don't marry a heathen man. If you are a heathen woman, don't marry a Christian man. Understand that as a woman, you are obligated. You take your husband's name. You take his identity. You become part of his house. You know, the house father, he answers to the father of the clan, the alderman. And all of the aldermen, they answer to the jarl, the fathers of the nation, the father of the nation, or the king. That's how society was structured in the ancient times. And that is how our society must be structured according to Germanic divine mandate. So when we get into these people that don't believe anything, they claim that they do not. And you will run into these kinds of people a lot. A lot of times you will meet a young woman and she'll say, oh, well, I don't like organized religion. Don't be fooled by this at all. Secularism and humanism is absolutely a religion. It's absolutely a religion. They say, oh, I believe in separation of church and state. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. So they may not have temples or anything like that, but they do. They may not have a Hof, as we would understand it. Their Hofs, their temples, reside in Washington, D.C. Their Hofs and temples reside in Silicon Valley. Their Hofs and temples reside in Hollywood. You know, they don't. Their priests are politicians. Their priests are Hollywood celebrities. Their priests are pop scientists. Their priests are people with Twitter handles and blue check marks. That's their priests. They are not any different than us. They are no different than a rival tribe. So unfortunately, this isn't the ancient times, the Bronze Age, when we can ride our chariots in and burn the place to the ground and take them as war brides. That's not something we could do nowadays. However, we can learn how to operate within the very wicked Thursian system of modernity, and we can abide by the mandates of the Odinic patriarchy. We can abide by those, and we can learn how to live in frith with our Christian family members, as long as they show us respect. If they show us their respect, they reach out their hand in friendship, then we must return. However, the people that do not trade smile for a smile and lie for lie so that spears may not be drawn. However, if they do draw a spear, you must return the favor. I am Dave, and this is another episode of a Norse Pagan's Guide to Simple Practice. Many thanks and many blessings. Alu.